Yep. Well, yeah, it was good to hear all the excitement and things going on with the sales world. So thank you for all that. So first things up is Boxwood Winter Gem. We wanted to add this on there. This was a last minute thing that we just added on this morning because we just kind of started looking at our numbers and started looking at the crop. This is a beautiful crop. They're 3 gallons. 15 inch, all 15 inch, and you can just see from that picture how they're just feathered out. And we have taken a lot of extra time with this crop, spacing them out, giving it a little extra money with how we're laying out the sites. We've installed a copper system for our boxwood program. So we are actually putting a lot of capital investment with this, and you can kind of see it from the pictures about how Winter Gem was always a pretty easy one to grow, and a lot of landscapers use it because of that. But we've done a lot of different things to kind of keep that shape, just so that way we minimize the trimming that we have to do, because if you space things out appropriately when it's younger, it can kind of fill in and make the size it's supposed to be without much shaping. So that's what we've done on our end. And if we can get these moved out on the next truckloads, this is actually one to kind of consider. A lot of good value with this plant. It's always been a winner with the boxwoods. So just keep those in mind. Next up that we have is the grass. The 3 different varieties that we have there, just to, there's 5.
Yeah, you can scroll down.
Okay, so we can scroll down and we can see the other ones. We wanted to give you guys an update of what our grass crops look like. So we kind of put them all on one page there. So we got, can you read the names on my little screen? But
we have Rigoletto here. I'll help you out, man. We have Adagio here.
Okay.
And then Zabrenis.
Okay, zebras. Okay, and Shenandoah.
You got it. Good guess. And bandwidth.
Okay, bandwidth. So just stay there at the top. Don't scroll up and down and make me sick. Is pretty good with the 2 gallons, 3 gallons, and some more 3 gallons there. Just to give everybody just an update of what the crops are looking like. This is the new crop, and the stuff is coming along fantastic, right? We've did a lot of extra sprays with for rust. We're trying to get that water right, so that way we don't have the rust problems as well. So just to give you guys a reference again, that zebra grass. That's there's some variegation going on there, but that bandwidth gives you, it's a little bit tighter of that variegation. So when you look at it from a distance, you get a little bit more yellows. Bandwidth again is one that's sterile, just in case you got some customers out there still asking for that kind of stuff. But to kind of set ourselves apart, we put that into a 3 gallon. I know some other centimeter, so. Make sure you mention that. The Shenandoah, the color in there isn't there yet for the fall color, but the plant looks gorgeous. Seed heads on there. I remember that one's going to give you some little bit of purple come the fall time, and I think I just threw up. Okay, so and then Rigoletto and Adagio. There's some smaller pictures there. Of the 3 gallons. So just kind of keep that stuff all in mind. Plenty of availability on all these. So don't feel like we don't have enough, because we got plenty for everybody. So next up is the hydrangea confetti. So going back to what our crops normally look like right now is to the right there, and to the left is what some of the pictures are when the blooms are in full bloom. So you can see where the crop is and where it sits. They're not fully opened yet. So just to kind of explain that to the customers. So when they get them, they're going to look along this, and they can kind of watch them fill out. You're not going to get that color. That's something that you want to push to the customer on the confetti. It's kind of known for different colors in the flower. You're not going to get that for probably another couple of weeks, is when we start getting some cooler nights. The nights here are still pretty hot, and so you want to make sure you just kind of inform the customers of that. If somebody's expecting like some different shades in there, it's not going to happen for a while. But the plants that look gorgeous. This is we got over 600 of these on availability. Next up is Lava Lamp Flare. Now this is a Bloom and Easy line, and this one, out of a lot of the hydrangeas that we grow here, this is actually one that kind of tops my list of ones I like, just because of that pointed leaf. Now that's what sets it apart for me for the hydrangeas. And you can set all the hydrangeas together, and this without the name tags or without the pots, and you can point this one out pretty quick just because of that leaf. So even without the bloom, it still has attractive foliage. But there are some bloom spikes going on in there, so you can kind of see that. But again, with that, the color of those what you see on the left picture, that pinks and reds or whatever you want to call them, those aren't going to set in to the cooler nights. So that's just one thing you want to keep mentioning or just updating your customers that they're coming along great. The plants are nice and full, so something to keep in mind with over 700 of those on availability. Hydrangea Pinky Winkies is next. This is a great standby plant that's always been around for quite a while. One of the first ones that they kind of selected out to be those pinks, then Quick Flare came along, all that kind of stuff. But so Pinky Winkies, even though it's kind of an older hydrangea, it's still one that people fall back on. It does, as it gets older, it does kind of thin out at the bottom, but we try to keep these things trimmed back so that way the customers in these can see that it's kind of full of the bottom. So if some customers do see that in the landscape thinning out at the bottom, it's natural. But one thing that they could do is just trimming it back early in the spring, or will help keep that bottom full. And they don't have to worry about trimming off blooms because they'll reset blooms throughout the year. So if you're having customers that try to stay away from Pinky Winky because they know it thins out as it gets older, that is kind of a trick that you can kind of do to kind of keep that plant full of the bottom. But some people like that little bit more of openness at the bottom too. So I've seen it both ways in the landscape, and each way, when it's done right, it looks really good. They got great upright stems. You don't have to worry about it flopping over with the flowers. So Pinky Winky, and these ones are in 7 gallons in the picture. You can just see the tremendous size that they're already pushing there. So 350 of these on availability. Next up is Limelights. This one again is the 7 gallon. You can kind of just see the size of this. Now this one, you can see that a little bit different of a color of the leaf compared to the Pinky Winkies. A little bit more of a lime color, a little bit lighter color, which kind of helps with that flower too. So you can kind of, if people are kind of wondering what the differences are between Pinky Winky and Limelights, they're definitely different leaf color. But just to kind of show you that they're just full of blooms, and they're ready to go and ready to push out, and nice to see that. As soon as they turn white, it's just a showstopper. So there's 300 of these on availability. Vanilla Strawberries next. And these are 3 gallon first edition pots.
I had to switch to those because the older ones, the flowers.
So Cheryl's letting me know that we're switching over to this new group. Bud sets in there are pretty small, but your customers are going to be pretty happy. The older ones that we were shipping out of, they're kind of starting to flop over a little bit with when we were watering them in. So we switched over to this group just to kind of keep everybody happy. We definitely don't want to be shipping stuff out there that's flopping over on the customers. So these ones, this group it looks awesome. It looks perfect, nice and fresh crop with 300 of these on availability for the vanilla strawberry. Next up, we had to throw in some physocarpus. That's usually a big one during the summertime. So just showing you where the crop's at for the summer wine. This is where it's at. There's really nothing much to say about physocarpus. Everybody really knows what physocarpuses are, unless you got some new customers out there that just opened the doors yesterday. But this is something that everybody kind of knows and loves and uses because of how easy they are to grow. right? You got that summer color, that the purples, and you got the flowers coming on and coming off. And our flowers are not really there because we keep trimming them back and we're trying to keep that plant nice and tight at the bottom. So flowers do develop and they do get off. So what we're trying to do is just give you that fresh crop all the time. So throughout the summer, we'll be going in and out of crops, and this is exactly what the crop looks like right now that we're getting out of. Nice and tight and looking right. So yeah, there's 500 of those on availability. Next up, throwing some other color for the summertime is spirea. This one's pink sparkler. This one's kind of this one's a first edition as well. This one's overlooked quite a bit, I feel. Vetors, spireas have always been really tough spireas out of all of them, right? So you got all these newer varieties coming along. We'll see those in some other pictures. I think we got some there, but they got those ones are a lot of smaller varieties coming out now. But pink sparkler was a nice one. It was kind of filled that space up. It has a little bit different, distinct leaf for spireas. Pink sparkler gets that little bit of a shade of the pinks in there, of the flower. So it's a great plant. Definitely overlooked a lot with that little bit of a yellow leaf to it, and with that pink set to it with the flower, it actually shows itself up really well in the landscape or even at the garden center. And there's over 300 of these on availability for that. Next up is the Rainbow Fizz spirea, and this is the last one we got for the pictures. But you can kind of see the spirea, and this is kind of what we've been showing off is a lot of selection, a lot of breeding's been going on to get these newer ones coming out there to be a little bit more compact, because a lot of landscape sizes have kind of gone down. So that's where this one comes into play. It's Blooming Easy products. It's got a great pot color contrast against that with the leaf, and it's a great plant. So it's a nice tight. It's definitely uniformed. And of course we do trim them back, but as it's popping out uniform, and that's what we like to see with growing spireas. We don't like to see these stems coming out every which way and looking like my hair every morning. So this is a great plant to have in a landscape, and there's over 300 of these on availability.